Around the mid-70s, in a flat above a Turkish shop in Peckham, Shaykh was giving a talk. One murid describes this particular sohbet. He said that Shaykh was sitting at the front, and around them were some posh and snobbish-looking Arabs, and everyone else was sitting behind them. In total, it must have been around 15 to 20 people, so a small gathering. And they were all looking eagerly and listening to Shaykh's words. A little later, the door opened to the flat, and a very strange man stood looking into the room. Now Ibrahim, which I'm sure many of us have met, he's the black guy who usually has a store in the Dargah in Peckham and sells those special tasbihs that make zikr themselves. Anyways, he recognizes this person and welcomes him into the majlis. Maybe he had seen him earlier and had invited him, we don't know, but most likely. At this point, the murid looking at this person could not make any sense of him at all. From his appearance, he looked like a Rastafarian, with heavy dreadlocks, stereo system, and so on. But for some reason, to him, his face did not go with his persona. His features were totally different, and this he found very, very weird. Anyway, the Rastafarian came into the room and sat down. But Shaykh said, bring him forward. Now, as you can probably imagine, the posh Arabs were not too happy with this. Now, not just a scruffy looking guy was being given the honour of sitting next to Shaykh, on top of that, he was black. Seeing their response, Shaykh spoke in Arabic, saying, you shouldn't look at people's appearances, you should look into their hearts. After this, they calmed down, and Shaykh continued to speak. Throughout all of this, that stranger did not speak, he just listened. And after a while, he suddenly spoke out. I would like to take Shahada. Now, I've said that in a Rastafarian accent, but I can barely read this. Shaykh looked at him and said, yes, welcome. And they read the Shahada, and he read after them. Then Shaykh continued talking, continued the song. He then interrupted Shaykh again and said, I would like to take bay'ah. Shaykh again said, yes, welcome, and then gave bay'ah. Shaykh then told one of the servants to bring tea for the stranger, so immediately a cup of Turkish tea was brought. At this point, the murid was looking even more closely at the Rastafarian, as he seemed to grow stranger at every moment. The fact that he knew what the Shahada and bay'ah was just did not go with his appearance. Anyhow, whilst observing him, he clearly noticed that he would take the cup of tea to his lips, bring it back down. He wouldn't drink it. He kept doing this again and again, each time bringing it to his lips and putting it back down again. After the blue, he then stood up and said, I must go now, permission to leave. And Shaykh said, yes, you may go. And so he just simply walked out, gone. The murid who's telling this story, his duty was to wake Shaykh up for tahajjud every morning. But whenever he went to wake them, he would obviously find them already awake and already doing zikr or any ibadah, whatever they would do. So like usual, the following morning, he went to Shaykh's room and went inside. When they saw him, they turned to him and said, and he had this question in his heart, that who was that person, who was that person? He kept asking himself this. So obviously Shaykh knew that he was curious about this. So Shaykh looked at him and said, do you know who that person was? Ya Sayyidi, you know better. I don't know, but I found him very, very strange. Shaykh smiled, looked at him, and you can imagine the look they must have given. And they said, that was Sayyiduna Khidr alayhi salam, who came to visit us. Allahumma salli ala